Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new video. This is Hub Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. In this video, we'll be looking at the parts of a circle. We'll be looking at the parts of a circle. It will be very, very short, and yet I do hope that you'll be able to understand all that we do in here. So, looking at a circle, first of all, let me draw a circle. So you can use any tool for that. That is circular. But most appropriately, it is best you use your compass. So this is my circle here. So this here is my circle. All right. Okay. So let me just move this from here. Now I have my circle. Now what you see here is what we call the center of the circle. This here, that is the center of the circle. That is the what? The center of the circle. Then what you see, this round aspect of the circle you see is the circumference. The circumference of the circle. So you can make notes whilst I just say it. So this circular path is the circumference of the circle. Now, if you join a straight line from the very center of the circle, a straight line, and I mean a straight line. So if you join a straight line from the very center of the circle to touch any point on the circumference, you get what we call the radius. That is the radius of a circle. So the radius of a circle is just any line, any straight line that connects the center of the circle towards the circumference of the circle. So that is the radius for you. Now, we have spoken about the circumference. If I take just a part of the circumference, so let me clean and then take just a very, very small part. I'm taking here and here. This over here becomes an arc. You see, this here becomes an arc. This over here also becomes an arc. You see, yes. So that is how they are. Now, if I'm to move this one, it is best I copy. So let me just copy that. So the explanation becomes very, very simple. So if I'm to duplicate my circle, right, and then trying to locate my arc, so I just take a part of the circumference, just a part of it, right? So this one here is an arc. You see, it just forms part of the circumference, right? That is an arc. Now, as you can see, I have formed two arcs. I have formed how many arcs? Two arcs. One is smaller and then the other is bigger. So this is my first arc, and then this over here, this whole thing over here is my second arc. The bigger one is called a major arc, and then this smaller one would just be a minor arc, right? So that is it about arcs. Then we come to what we call the diameter. The diameter. The diameter. Now, the diameter is also a line that touches the center, but also touches two parts of the circumference. You see, so it started from this part to this side and then passes through the center. All right, that is what the diameter. So the diameter can also be called a chord. We'll look at what a chord is in a bit. But first of all, let's establish the fact that the diameter is 2 times of the radius. A diameter is what? 2 times of the radius. Why do we say so? We said the radius is what? Just from the center to the end of the circumference. But as we can see, there are two of them here, from this point to this point, and also from this point to this point. So we have two radii in a diameter. All right, so in our subsequent sessions, we'll be looking at the relationship between the radius and also the diameter. Now, if I'm to take this circle aside, just like the diameter, I can draw so many other lines that will link the circumference. You see, so I can draw this line here. It links the two parts of a circumference. You see, there are so many of them I can draw, and even like the diameter as well. These lines are called chords. So a chord is just a straight line that joins two points on the circumference. So this point to this point becomes a what? A chord. That is, this line here becomes a chord. So far as it is touching two points on the what? On the circumference. Now, if you draw a chord, you realize that it divides your circle into two equal parts. No, not two equal parts, but then two parts. You see? So the first one being this over here, you see, and then this over here becomes your second one. We call the smallest one the minor segment. You see, the minor segment. And we call the bigger one, which is this we see over here, the major segment. So the chord actually divides the circle into two segments, the minor segment and then the major segment. So that is it on what? The chord. Then we look at another one we call a sector. A what? A sector. So let's see this here. How do I even identify this circle's center? So if this is my center, and I'm able to draw two radius, or in other words, we call them radii. So this here, and then I draw another one in any direction at all. So it can be any direction, it's all up to you. So let me just put that over here. This divides my circle into sectors. You see, into what? Sector. So a sector is an area bounded by what? By radii. You see, by two radii of a circle. So these are the bounds of the what? The sector. And you have two sectors as well over there. The first one being what I'm shading here. This here is a sector that has been formed. And the unshaded part is also another sector that has been formed. The smaller one would be a minor sector, whilst the biggest would be what? The major sector, right? So that is that on what? Sectors. They are bounded by two radii. Then we have a quadrant. A quadrant. So a quadrant is simply what? When we divide the circle into four equal parts. Into four equal parts. We form what? A quadrant. And a quadrant is just one of the parts. So this here is a quadrant. This here is also another quadrant. And you can call this also another quadrant. And then finally, this can also be another quadrant. So there are four quadrants in a circle. Very beautifully. Then one of the last things we'll be looking at is what? A semicircle. A semi what? Circle. So if you look at this that has been drawn, there is this diameter dividing our circle into two equal parts. These two equal parts are what we call what? A semicircle, because it is actually a half of a circle. So that is why we call it a semicircle. So these are the sides or the parts of a circle you need to know for us to continue this course. I haven't taken time to write them, and then I do believe that you did. If not, you can still go back, take your time and watch, and then jot them down. So we'll be looking at, in our next video, we'll be looking at what we call calculations involved in what? Circles, such as the area of a circle, the perimeter of a circle, and then what have you. So until then, if this video has been of help, you can always subscribe and then share as well. Thank you very much and do have a blessed day. Bye.